Hey, and welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show, where we are on our journey to 250,000 subscribers. And we're getting there. We're getting there thanks to your help. So if you like what you hear and you like what you see, hit the like button and subscribe. All right. So one of the things I want to talk about is a recent order and decision by Judge Juan Merchan. And to remind you, Judge Juan Merchan is the presiding judge in the Manhattan District Attorney criminal case against Donald Trump. That's the case that has already held Donald Trump accountable under the 34 counts of guilt. So I want to go to this order, and then I want to discuss with you a whole series of issues that emanate as a direct result of this decision. So in this decision, as you see here, which came out yesterday, Judge Merchan states the following. And again, this is as a direct result of yet again a third attempt by Donald Trump to have Judge Juan Merchan recuse himself. And here's what Judge Merchan says. In deciding whether to recuse himself, the trial judge must carefully weigh the policy of promoting public confidence in the judiciary against the possibility that those questioning his impartiality might be seeking to avoid the adverse consequences of his presiding over their case. Stated plainly here, defendants' arguments are nothing more than a repetition of stale and unsubstantiated claims. As I said to you before, Donald Trump has now brought this on 3 times. His lawyers have made the same stale and unsubstantiated comments 3 times. And this court has been consistent that it welcomes zealous advocacy and creative lawyering. However, counsel has been warned repeatedly that such advocacy must not come at the expense of professional responsibility in one's role as an officer of the court. And with these fundamental principles in mind, this court now reiterates for the 3rd time that which should already be clear, innuendo and mischaracterizations do not a conflict create. Recusal is therefore not necessary, much less required. And he goes on and he quotes, on the facts before us, we conclude the judge's impartiality cannot reasonably be questioned based on the judge's relatives' business and or political activities. And the judge is not ethically required to disclose them. And that comes from an advisory committee and a panel on judicial ethics. Finally, as has been standard throughout the pendency of this case, this court will continue to base its rulings on the evidence and the law without fear or favor, casting aside undue influence. The judge finishes this decision by saying that the defendant, Donald J. Trump, has provided nothing new for this court to consider. Counsel has merely repeated arguments that have already been denied by this and higher courts. Defense counsel's reliance and apparently citation to his own prior affirmation, rife with inaccuracies and unsubstantiated claims, is unavailing. And as such, defendant's motion is again, in all caps, denied. And the above constitutes the decision of this court. So one of the reasons that I wanted to read part of this decision in order to you is to give you additional context of what's going on here. And as somebody that knows Donald Trump better than almost anybody out there, let me tell you some of the things that he's right now fearing and fearing the most. At one point in time, because of all of the stupidity of media and these moderators and these pundits, these legal pundits that you would listen to on television and news cable outlets saying that the Manhattan DA case is weak, it's bullshit, that, it was going to end up in a hung jury, Michael Cohen isn't a credible witness and all that. Wrong, wrong, and wrong. In fact, out of the 4 indictments, this is the only case that has managed to come to fruition. And not only was it tried before a jury of 12 independent New Yorkers, but on top of that, they resulted in 34 felony counts. So when I say to you, what is it that Donald Trump is fearful of? Because before, he wasn't even thinking about this case. He's most fearful of going to prison. It's why he is fighting like hell right now in order to avoid the consequences, to avoid accountability. Just imagine what happens on September 18th. Donald Trump is going to be required, as everybody is, to appear for his own sentencing. And with that, he's presented to the court before Judge Juan Merchan, who I can assure you is less than ecstatic with the ongoing attacks on him, his family, his credibility as a judge, his impartiality as a judge. With now the 3rd time the attorneys for Trump have gone ahead and tried to put forth the identical stale motion for Judge Merchan to recuse himself, each time, of course, being dismissed. Let's not forget that there's also 15 counts that were brought against Trump for witness tampering and obstruction of justice. Now, remember, the first 10, Donald Trump, or 11, Donald Trump was found guilty of, and there's now a remaining 4 or 5, which Judge Merchan is going to have to address at sentencing as well. None of this bodes well for a defendant, regardless of whether you're Donald Trump or Donald Duck. It makes no difference whatsoever. Okay? When I say that Donald Trump is nervous, he's nervous that Juan Merchan, based upon all of the behavior and actions of Trump, can actually sentence him, which I believe that would be fair and accurate, could sentence him to jail. Now remember, this is not federal, this is state. So he would end up going to a place like Rikers Island. I mean, scratch your head to that one. But when he would go in, the first thing that they do is they strip you out. Meaning, you go to this one area, this room, and in front of a correctional officer, you are required to strip naked. This for Donald Trump is petrifying, based upon at least what we know from Stormy Daniels. This is petrifying to him, that he's going to have to reveal himself in all of his glory before a stranger. And it's uncomfortable for anyone. Don't forget, it happened to me multiple times. It's uncomfortable for anyone, but it's more uncomfortable when you have certain mental issues and certain other, let's just say, lack of size, right? These sort of things, including not having the freedom to do what you want, to eat when you want, to wake when you want, to sleep when you want, to run your life as you want, especially for someone who's a narcissistic sociopath, this is extremely troubling. And this right now is weighing incredibly heavy on Donald Trump's mind, as each and every day brings you one day closer to that September 18th date. You know, when it was 3 months, 4 months away, Trump wasn't even thinking about it, because for him, 4 months is like an eternity. But we are now T-minus 30, just about, and counting. And he's like, holy shit. This is going to happen before the November election. On top of that, as we start to see Harris and Walz's campaign take on momentum that is now really jeopardizing any chance of a possible victory for Trump, he's saying to himself, not only am I going to lose the election, but I'm also going to lose everything that I have, including my freedom. This is what's weighing on the guy's mind every single second now, and it's why he is losing it more and more each and every day. And let's make this into a reality. All right, let's make sure that Harris Walz wins in November. So make sure that you vote blue up and down the ballot, and make sure that you vote Harris Walz 2024. Hey everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.